Greetings. Living in America, game better recognize game. And ain't no shame in my game, 'cause I'm down for my crown. A lot of you brothers think that street game is not lame, but the street game is the same as a dude working from 9 to 5. 'Cause it all goes back to the Caucasoid. It all goes back to him. He the one that go and get the dope and bring it back. Now, those pyramids in the back, your ancestors built them. They don't want you to know that they were black. They don't want you to know that. This brother here was my English professor. And I caught on quick to his English class. I was catching on. Matter of fact, I was probably about the only one catching on. Them young guys, I was about my 30s when I was going to Wayne County Community College. And them younger students, they didn't want that knowledge. He wrote this book, Down the Nile. And he was trying to figure out in his book how the pyramids was actually built. He had a theory. I'm not going to go into that right now. But them young guys, when I was going back in the 80s, I was going to Wayne County Community College in the late 80s, around 87, 88. Graduated in around 91 or 90 or something like that. I forgot now. Anyway, it was a few revolutionary professors, and you had some from the Shrine of the Black Madonna and some brothers from the Nation of Islam, some Panthers. Revolutionary brothers was up in there, Garveyites, and they were professors. And those young students in the 80s didn't want that kind of teachings. So they called the white man on this brother here. Now he was also a instructor over at Wayne State University. He had 2 gigs, one at Wayne County Community College and one at Wayne State University. And he also was a author of books. And he said that, we had a linguistic session class, and then he said, that basically we invented words, we invented language. And then I compared that with the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that's really when I got my first knowledge, when I compared scholastic knowledge with the spiritual teachings or revelation teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, given to him by Allah in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Now, when I was coming up, brothers was hustling. Now, Judge Mathis lived in Detroit, and the reason why he's doing his thing so successfully is because he had that street knowledge, and with a little bit of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad mixed up in there, and but he working for the system, but he's doing what he can to help his brothers out in his little circle, And while he could be successful and he could do more than what he's doing to help the brothers out by giving them a way to go, but he's building up the system. He's attached to the system, and the system ain't far down for black people. And you can't, I don't care how hard you try, but you can't join the system and change it. They're not going to let you. They'll change you before you can change the system. Now, he should know this. All y'all brothers and sisters should know this, especially the Christians, by the story of Jesus. This is what Jesus was all about. And the devil tried to get Jesus to join his system, but Jesus never did do it. So his next thing was to kill him. But now dig this. You're not going to never have brothers and sisters that's black that's fully down for black people. They're going to be down for that dollar bill or that gold coin. Another lesson in the New Testament talking about Jesus, he had a bunch of traitors and hypocrites in his circle, you know, and that's what it was. What's happening now is talking about the New Testament, you know, but the brothers and sisters ain't hip to it. A lot of y'all ain't hip to that, you know, but street brothers, a whole lot of them is hip to it, but they hooked on them streets, and they don't see no alternative way. They don't know about creating their own way. That's why I'm talking about these pyramids in back of me. See, if we can do it once, we can do it again. Now, the pyramids was before the Caucasian was even on the planet. That's why he don't know nothing about it. That's why he's studying them so hard.
It is a common misconception that the builders of the pyramids were slaves, forced to work by the king. However, these workers were for the most part skilled builders and craftsmen in the permanent service of the king.
This episode is supported by Skillshare. Hey smart people, so a few weeks ago we made a video about the pyramids and how, while they are pretty heckin' impressive, we can trace the evolution of their construction and see the ancient Egyptians using trial and error, even making a few mistakes, which basically tells us they didn't need aliens to build them, they just needed science. You guys really liked that video, but a few of you were a little bothered that despite the fact it was called Who Built the Pyramids, I didn't talk about how the pyramids were made. So, let's talk about it.
When people think of Giza, they think of the pyramids, and maybe the Great Sphinx, and they should, they're amazing monuments. But digging deeper reveals hundreds of tombs with decorated wall scenes and texts that inform us about every aspect of life in ancient Egypt. In this course, we'll meet the pharaohs and high officials of the Pyramid Age, then follow in the footsteps of the great 20th century expeditions.
So, we're going to get ready to close this episode down, but what I want you to walk away with is this, that in today's time, you can't be without knowledge of self, you know, and you got to know throughout our history that we've been tricked, bamboozled, hoodwinked. So you got to be careful and listen carefully on who you listening to and who you're studying, you know, and you can't get caught up in the personality worship. Now that's a black man. We were creators and we were architects, we were we were scientists. I sound like Trump sometimes, I know. But dig this. Regardless of how I say it, y'all know how uneducated brothers talk. And a lot of y'all still talk like that, so, don't be... But anyway, I'm just messing around. I ain't got time to mess around, but what I'm trying to get y'all to see is that this coronavirus is war. And the next video, I'm going to tell you who you should not listen to. But you can do what you want to do, but I'm just going to put you up on some game. And we always remember, game recognize game. A lot of y'all still lame. Y'all ain't got no game. Black light.